Welcome to Paramerican Radio, everybody. As always, I am your host, Chad Kalick, hanging out with the luckiest of all charms, the man of many hours. Steve's the man of all hours. He'd be the man of many hours. What's another good one for you? The tallest of the small men.
That sounds like a movie title, man.
The tallest of the small men. Justin Holstein is here with me. And once again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. He is the laptop-carrying voice of the millennial generation, the swipe writer himself, Steve Tinder Silverman. I just want to point out that Steve showed me a photo of a gal that he met on Tinder that was sending him videos. Wowza. I'm impressed, Steve. This was no middle of the mall shit. This was some top shelf. Very, very good stuff. I was like,
top
wow,
shelf.
Steve, this is nice. And I don't know. I feel like your older brother that's proud of you for the advancements that you make in the Tinder game.
Thanks, guys.
You know, I had a story I was meaning to tell too. So when we drive around in these Uber cars, all the time.
Yeah.
We have the Para and then the American, right? We always cover the Para stuff. Well, this was an inspiring story about America to me, man.
Okay.
So this dude picks me up, and he's like, "Hey, man, happiest guy, man." It says something like that when I said, "Oh, what's your name?" And he goes, "I'm so-and-so, I'm happiest guy, man, from Brazil." I'm like, "Oh," and he goes, "Yes." And I go, "São Paulo?" And he goes, "Yeah, São Paulo." You remember Mike Davis from São Paulo? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so, as we're talking about this and that, I've been probably covering Trump, I don't know. And at one point I go, "So, dude, what was the goal when you came out here? You've been out here for like 2 years." And he goes, and I don't think he understood the question. He started talking about, other stuff. And I go, "No, man, what was like the dream when you came out here?" And he goes, "Oh," and he goes, "Well, man," he goes, I guess it might not be much to other people, man, but I'm living my dream, man. I have good food to eat. I have a job, and I drive a car." And he goes, he goes, "In my country," he goes, "the movie Big with Tom Hanks?" I'm like, yeah. And he goes, "The Zoltar?" He goes, when I got here, I took my wife and we walked down Santa Monica and I saw the Zoltar and I started crying. And she goes, "Why are you crying?" And he's like, I made it here, It was like his way, this is like the dream. Yeah. It was like he made it. And you're thinking, wow, man, to just be so happy and content that you have an Uber driving job and that's all you needed, man,
We say that all the time. I mean, that is awesome, and that should be enough. But, we say this all the time. It always takes, like, really major, like, life-threatening things to get us to be reminded of the things we really should care about. It sucks that life's like that, but that's true. I mean, I've had moments where I sit and go, what am I upset about? Like when you compare your life to someone who's starving, like you said, you know what I mean, or in another country that doesn't have a vehicle or can't drive. It's where we have a warped view of making it in America. It is kind of weird, but that's where we get the land of opportunity from, right?
Right.
Like there's so much fundamental opportunity that making it isn't like being safe and healthy. Making it's like, woo, making it rain, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, that's making it, It's
right.
really strange, yeah.
Well, it's just that reminder that we still do, man. We have that upward mobility. That's the one thing, man. It isn't necessarily, when they say freedom, it isn't the freedom of just allowing to be able to walk free and stuff. That's not just it, because that's in other countries too. But, it's just that upward mobility, man. It seems like everybody still just flocks to America for that reason, so.
Well, I think everybody flocks to America because I watched your Charms video, Merch. What's his name?
Yeah, Charms Valcom.
First of all, I love his name, Charms Valcom. Cool name.
Merch, that was good merch. Merch, that was good merch. My father tried to save me. He said believe in the spirit of God. Leave me alone. My mother tried to heal me. She said just feel me and leave me alone. My brother tried to scold me. He said just hold me and mold me to leave me alone. My sister tried to listen, but she couldn't understand. It's not how I stand, but where I stand. Merch, I can merch.
Great video, by the way. Some truly interesting stuff you did there with not a lot to work with. Really creative editing, by the way. I meant to give you props on that.
Thanks.
Really good. But I look at a guy like Party Boy. In America, Party Boy can be, or what's his name? Playboy.
No, his name's KB.
KB, but the song's Playboy.
Yeah.
Out the rover, yeah, I'm hardly ever sober, yeah. You got lucky, that's 40 fucking clover, ayy. I just cracked a bitch and I hardly even know.
KB can be somebody in America. KB's got, I'm a fan. There are other fans of KB.
I think he's in rehab right now, so I don't know if he's going to be
Dude,
doing
if
anything.
I would have shown you
Love the video.
when he was gonna cut that, he had it when we were in San Diego, and he was showing me it. It was so bad. I could not believe. I thought, I don't know what you're gonna do with this, man. I mean, it was him just going, like in a room, and I saw the final thing, and I'm like, dude, you made that dude look cool. Like, you made all that look cool.
I cannot stop watching that guy. Like,
Yeah.
he is...
He's like that in person. That's just...
Yeah. Oh, man. He is a beautiful mess. I mean, just a mess in every way. But so just watchable, I'm like, this guy needs a reality show. And
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know who that skinny person. I was like, is that person sick or something? Like, oh, that's a girl. I'm like, shut up. And then,
yeah.
He just has these weirdos hanging around him all the time, and they're all like just getting down. And I was picturing Steve immersed in their weirdo world. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
For these days.
I was cracking up the entire time while filming.
Man.
And that was driving him. Him seeing me laughing, he's like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna go even harder. Literally. It's hard not to laugh. Like this guy's, like trying to spin around and like losing his balance and getting like dizzy and shit. Like, and he would just like stop, or he would stop rapping, like jump onto something but not make it onto there and like fall off and like keep trying. Like while I'm still shooting. It's hard not to.
Dude, just his... that goofy hair pulled up like that. The idea that most guys are trying to look like most guys are trying to be like your boy from Oakland, that your son loves.
Oh, Jeezy?
Yeah, most guys are trying to be G-Eazy. This dude's like not trying to be G-Eazy. This guy's trying to be old dirty bastard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just mind-bending to me how...
It's funny that you say that, though. He's trying to be like Chief Keef and those dudes.
But
But he's coming off more like
As
ODB.
ODB,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a pretty good comparison, actually. But see,
that makes sense though, because he's definitely trying for that. What's their music called? Not trap. There's two different kinds. There's trap music.
I
and
should
there's-
know this because I filmed so many of these
Yeah.
videos.
Well, if Jake was here, he could talk to you guys about all this shit.
Yeah, there's
I don't
trap
know any
music.
of
That's
these
from
guys.
ATL, but the other kind, their kind from Chicago, is called
Right.
something else.
Man, it is on the tip of my tongue. This is
too.
gonna kill me. I'm telling you, I work with so many of these guys too. Oh man.
Yeah, well, we'll remember it. But yeah, it's that makes total sense now that you say he's trying to be Chief Keef. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's from Chicago area, and actually, a lot of the dudes from my neighborhood, man, this is how crazy this stuff is. So, I live about 25 miles north of downtown Chicago in a pretty, I don't want to like bring like race or anything, but like a white Jewish area,
Okay.
and one by one, these gangster rappers start like coming up there because a lot of my friends, they're either producers or they're
Right.
managers, whatever.
Right.
And this one time we did a music video shoot with, I'm not even kidding, must have been 30, 40 gangsters, right? And they weren't causing trouble, they weren't doing anything, we were just like walking down the road,
drill.
Drill music, yeah.
Drill music.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Chicago
that's
drill
it.
sound, yeah.
Yeah. So they were just, walking down the road, whatever, we're going to the shoe location, and 4, 5, 6 cop cars show up. And there's like 4 different people that called the cops because they saw these gangsters, in our neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah, and this guy, he sees this, and he's like, man, I want to be like these guys. They see these gold chains, whatever about them is really infatuating to him,
Right.
and that's what he wants to be.
There's a lot of overlap in the entertainment industry where you're crossing those barriers. It's like I used to do. Back in the early days, dude, I would do anything for money, for posters, so I was doing rap posters and all kinds of stuff for these gangster type dudes, right?
One of them came over to Justin's house because he wanted some work done, and he had been shot. He had a bullet hole in him.
Well,
When he came there,
he just
came?
wasn't shot on the spot. He'd been shot earlier.
Oh, okay, okay.
But earlier, not like years before, like a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was
fairly fresh.
good enough that he was. Anyway, but this specific circumstance, this is when all of our kids were still young, right? So they're all running around. So there's little girls that ran down the block from our neighbor that lived just up the street. So he's walking down to me as Scrooge rolls up in his caddy. And they open up the door, and the neighbor's walking down to ask me if I would watch his daughters as he goes to the. So Scrooge steps out, smoke's rolling out. He's got these other gangster dudes in there. He starts flipping through hundreds, standing by me, and I'm looking, and I almost want to go, dude. And I'm looking. He looks at me, and he goes, "Hey," and he's gonna ask me to watch his daughters because he does it a lot, and he doesn't this time. He looks at me and he's like, "Hey," and I go, "Hey." I go, it's not what it looks like, man. And I was like, and I later on after Scrooge left, I went up and I go, hey, dude, I do, I explained the whole thing, but man, it was like,
Comedy, man.
One of the dudes that I used to work with, his name's Lil J00. He was pretty big. He's in jail now for life, but he's been shot in 7 different occasions, and one of them he was shot like 6, 7, 8 times, man. And this guy, after being through that, he thinks he's invincible.
How many total times has he been shot then?
Oh, I don't know. I just know it was on 7 different occasions. So this guy thinks he's
And
Superman.
one time alone was 7 or 8 times?
Yeah, something
So
like
he's
that.
got-
4, 5, 6, 7, just multiple times.
So bare minimum, he's been shot at least 12, 13 times.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you know what? Well, think about it, man. Like in Chicago, when you're, walking around thinking that you can't be killed, and you're already like at this insane level. He's like, fuck it, and he's in jail for murder now.
Fuck it. It's just amazing when you hear that. He's just like, fuck it. It's like your life, bro. You know? It's, Vice is doing these incredible documentaries right now. Or Noisy is. That's Vice's music channel.
I've been watching them.
Yeah, those Noisy docs where they go to, like, Atlanta. And they'll hang out with, like, every dope-ass Atlanta rapper, plus the up-and-coming dudes. And they just went to Nashville. Did you see the one in Nashville?
No, did you see the Boston one?
I haven't seen the Boston one yet.
Really fucking good, man.
It must have just come out.
No. It was a while back. Boston is on the come up for rap.
Oh, really?
Just watch. Oh yeah.
They just did this one on Nashville, and it was so fucking good. I mean, they had like Struggle Jennings, Shooter Jennings,
amazing album, dude.
Or Struggle Jennings.
Shooter Jennings.
Oh no, Struggle is the other son or grandson of Waylon. There's another one, and he's a rapper.
Wow.
And he just got out of jail, did 5 years for hard trafficking, and went in jail, really heavy, huge, like fat kid, right? And he did a music video with Yellow Wolf before he went into jail. Sold $5 million worth of MP3s, had a $5 million check waiting for him when he got out, and now he is ripped. I mean, you should see him out of jail now. He's clean as hell. He's like an advocate for no drugs.
Wow.
I mean, he is bodybuilder fucking ripped.
Have any of you seen the series Atlanta? You know?
Dates, yeah.
Wait, it's called Atlanta?
Yeah, it's about who's Danny? Who's the famous older black actor? Danny. He was in
Glover.
It's Glover's kid.
Oh no! I've been meaning to watch that.
I know it is. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, Jake said he loved it when we watched it, and it won some awards and stuff.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, he won what's the Grammys or the Oscars for TV?
Yeah.
What is that called?
Oscars for TV.
Yeah, the Grammy, the award show for
the
Golden Globes.
No, there's the Oscars. It's the tellies, right? No, the Oscars, the Emmys.
Yeah, yeah.
Emmys,
He won an Emmy.
Yeah. No, but if you get a chance, watch. There's another one that's really good. It's on
Empire.
the new. No. I'm talking about Vice.
Oh.
Watch this one they have called NOLA. It's all about the metal scene of New Orleans, the stoner rock scene, like Down, I Hate God, oh God, like all those like Phil Anselmo offshoot fucking metal bands that are just sludge metal, like really just Hank Threes and a bunch of shit that's down there. It's just really cool, kind of their way of life in general. I love those docs that do that like just get into life, like they get past like does Anselmo think he's cool? The only time Anselmo's really in there is he's showing how they make crawdads. And they're showing how you're supposed to peel them, suck them, and eat them. And if you're a real man, you suck the juice out of its head. And it's like, shit like it's dude shit that they do on a real time basis. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that stuff's fun to watch just to see how they live. You know what I mean? And their crew and how ain't nobody treating anybody like they're rock stars. You know what I mean? I love documentaries like that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. What else is new? Anybody anything exciting? I mean, I know we've all been working the last few days.
One thing I just noticed is I hope Kurt doesn't mind that Mike cuts him out of the picture, his face of that poster.
I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be okay with it. He's not wanting for fame.
That's true. Yeah.
If he has an issue, we can change it. I'm sure he'll be okay. Just had one hell of a guest on last time, Mr. David Burns.
Yeah.
It was great to see David. To anybody out there, if we got a little too far down personal memory road, you're going to have to forgive us, embrace it, man, because we have a lot of history with that guy.
Yeah.
And we have not, that is the most I have talked to Dave. And first of all, it's the second time I've seen him in the last 13 years. It's the most I've talked to him in the last 13 years. I know it's the most you've talked to him in the last probably 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that relationship very much led to us sitting here today. I mean, that was so.
It's funny, dude. When he came, he was leaving. He's like, "All right, we'll see you later." And he walked a little bit down the hall, and he walks back and he goes, "Hey man, are we serious about saying I could take those pictures? I mean, do you have copies of stuff?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, okay, all right." And I'm thinking, wow, you really wanted those pictures? Huh?
Yeah.
It is memory lane. I would have thought, that the odd part is they probably don't. Things were so haywire for them back then. They didn't cherish it. They didn't, You think it's gonna last forever, and it's just craziness everywhere.
Any of us did. You never. And you'll probably see this, Steve, too, you never realize how cool something is when you're in it. You know what I mean? It's like you're so focused on the task at hand that you don't smell the roses. You know what I mean? It's just...
Oh, yeah. I've noticed that for sure.
Yeah, and sometimes you look back and go, God, that was fun. Why didn't I enjoy that more?
No, exactly. I mean? Yeah, looking back, I'm like, man, I lived in Denmark for 3 months, and while I was living there, I was like, man, this town is kind of lame, and this and that. And now I'm like, fuck, I want to live there for 3 months again. I actually cherish and appreciate it more.
Right. No, that's crazy, man. I think about it all the time.
I didn't know that. Denmark. My wife's Danish, so.
Oh, yeah.
She still one of their great uncles or something still lives in Denmark and wrote a book, and she wants to get it translated so she can read it. And
yeah, okay, so Denmark, interesting fact about Denmark, the landlord he like came back. He like came by and whatever, we were chatting, and he was like complaining about like the taxes. He's like yeah, they're taking almost 70% of tax. Literally, like it was like 66% is how much he was paying in taxes.
That's crazy.
And then and I was like, holy fuck, that's fucked up. And then he starts getting to the story. He's like, yeah, I'm going for a 3 or 4 month yacht trip around the world. And I'm like, wait, you're complaining about paying this much for taxes, but you're going around the world, and that's because Denmark is, I think, one of the best countries, because you get paid. You can retire happy being a cashier there. You get paid a lot.
Well, their social infrastructure is huge.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like the man. After like we'd have parties and stuff, I would like take the beer cans, and you can go to any store and deposit them into this machine, and you get a ton of money back. Free healthcare. It's like paradise, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, they take care of everything there because they charge that much money to take care of everything. Yeah.
Right, but you could still do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Let's fucking move to Denmark, baby. Let's do it. Now I want to check it out. I've never been there. I definitely want to check it out. I know they've got a lot of spooky legend and lore in Denmark.
Oh, Copenhagen. Yeah, that's where.
Yes, sir.
What's that famous author? Hans Christian Andersen.
Oh yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah.
From Copenhagen, and in Copenhagen, you see a lot of like statues and stuff of like these freaky demonic things from his books.
What years did you live there?
Gosh, I'm so bad with time, man. I want to say two and a half years ago. So I came there with a one-way ticket because my ex was studying there, and I ended up working with a lot of the groups in the university, because it was a design university.
Right.
But they didn't do any like film, media, whatever. So I ended up just working with a bunch of them. I won a award for this plant design project, which is so funny because I'm in like these groups like working, and I'm not in school, and the teachers don't care at all. It is crazy how different the school system is there. And I had one of the videos I did ended up in a museum exhibit. It was a great time. Huh. It was. I learned so much about like design and about planning out before you shoot something.
Well, Denmark's got famous filmmakers, man. It was like Fellini, right? Or not Fellini.
He was Italian.
Sorry, yeah, not Fellini. I watched this in
How dare you fucking disgrace Federico.
I know.
Federico's rolling over his grave right now.
No, man, but it's like...
I'm fucking Italian!
No, I know what you mean. The Captain Phillips, right? That film, it was made around the same time as this Danish film. And the Danish film is like 10 times better, man. It is so much better. It is really? Not... It's like not... I can't remember the name.
Are you trying to say you didn't like Captain Phillips?
I liked Captain Phillips, but I watched that film before, and I was like, all right. First of all, Captain Phillips totally ripped off this film.
You know what, Captain Phillips? That's a Tom Hanks one, right?
Yeah,
but it's a true story,
right?
What do you mean? So he was just playing a guy in a true story, so he didn't rip off. That would mean they had to rip off.
It's
one similar to the other, right?
Exactly. It's just like the format of the film. Like you have to watch it to really understand. But
I'll tell you what. When I watch Captain Phillips, the most realistic freak out scene I have ever seen an actor portray is when they finally got him back on the boat after they blew those dudes' heads up like a pumpkin. And they're asking him, like, is this your blood? He's just saying, no, it's their blood. And you can see, like, he's crying as he's talking. And he's freaking out.
Yeah.
But having to hold it together at the same time. I've never seen that portrayed so perfectly by Tom Hanks. I mean, I was just like... I remember watching that going, you know what sucks? He won't get the Academy Award for this because it's not politically his year. That's fucking acting. Like I felt it.
Great age.
I felt
Saving
it.
Private
You know
Ryan
what I mean? Yeah.
Man, his acting that, wow.
Big time for sure. So, well, all right, dude. Let's jump right into it, man. Let me know how big is the rabbit hole this week. Let us know what's going on around the world, and let's get at it. Let's get cracking. Let's toss some opinions around, Steve.
All right. Well, you're gonna love this one, Chad.
Okay.
This is your topic, man. So there are these new NASA images that show a giant hole at the North Pole that leads to the hollow Earth conspiracy theorist claim. And here, check this out.
There's new NASA images that show the fucking hole. I knew this shit was coming. Yeah. Did they delete them right away?
No, I think they're still up. Actually,
See, that would make the most sense to me. My understanding is these
Oh
alien...
no, they were deleted actually. Wow, you're right. Yeah, they were quickly deleted.
Yeah, usually NASA deletes them after they pop up automatically.
These alien races are supposedly living inside the Earth.
Yes.
That's where, yeah.
Right. Dude, look, the weirdest thing about it, that and the thing is, I'm not even... It's impossible for me to say that I think that there's people inside that, you know what I mean, unless they've been down there, seen footage of it, seen anything. What I am saying is that if you believe Admiral Byrd's diary, and if you believe, a lot of scientists, it could be extremely possible that this is happening. And why is it that no one could fly over the North or South Pole? You know what I mean? Like, why is that? Why can nobody see it? Why can nobody do any? If Byrd knew there was nothing there, what did he take a squadron of airplanes for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what were they there for?
If you're an alien race, for the preservation and longevity of your race, the first thing we're trying to do, supposedly, are building these underground bunkers to try to survive a cataclysmic event, right?
Right.
Now imagine, you're not just building it like 1,000 feet down or something like that. You're going so far down that it would take... you're building a civilization down there.
Right.
Meaning greenery, you have your own setup going on, but you're completely... removed, because anything that's going to hit the Earth, even if it had a huge impact, you would still be safe from.
You guys have heard these stories of these massive booms that are being heard all over the fucking country, right? Have you guys seen this on YouTube and on the news? It just happened in New York. Oh, I'll bring it for the next part. I will bring, this will be our main story then. There are thundering, like I'm talking atomic-sized booms that are going off around the world, but especially across the United States. In major cities. Like the news is doing stories on it, from Portland to Seattle to Houston to LA. Last week, right before you arrived, there was another news story on the Channel 6 News, because people reported hearing this Earth, it's below the ground, just boom, just this boom, and no one knows where it's coming from. And nobody would give answers. The military, nobody. Everybody said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But they're seeing seismic readings. You know what I mean? But they don't know where it's coming from. So, maybe that's it. Maybe my initial thought was they must be doing shit on the ground. You know what I mean? That was my only thought. They're building shit on the ground right now,
There was a story about they had some kind of a device, or they were reading at the bottom of the Marianas Trench.
Yeah.
And the closest thing they could say what it was like a new kind of whale or something.
Yeah, they didn't know. Weird, mysterious sound.
Did you hear it? It sounds digital 1,000%.
Yeah, it sounds digital, and they still haven't. And this is as of like a couple weeks ago. I saw an update. I still haven't figured it out. Still have not figured out what it is.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorists think they think the ships are charging up down there.
Yeah.
Turn them back, turn them on. You know what I mean?
Dude, when I listened to that, I was like going, that's no whale, man.
Yeah.
That's a digital whale, maybe, that's programmed to do stuff, but it's not anything like...
I know whales.
Yeah.
That's no fucking whale. So, yeah, pretty interesting. So, I don't know. What else you got, man?
All right, this next one is... There's no way I can pronounce this guy's name, but I'll just say his last name, Johannesson. He's the president of Iceland, and he said if he could, he would ban pineapple pizza.
Oh, what?
And the internet just exploded, man. You have...
Now, who said this again?
The president of Iceland.
Why would you want to do that?
He doesn't like pineapple. He says that fruits should not be mixed with pizza.
Oh God, was
You
he
know,
joking or
and-
was he serious?
Well, he said it like more tongue in cheek, you know.
Yeah, well, I
but
assume
And
he
his
would.
personal preference too. But the funny part is that's the stuff that social media. I'll post this long thing where I put all this time thinking and writing it up, and you get maybe 2 likes, no comments. You post, "I love olives." Blows up. Dude, olives are amazing. Dude,
Yeah.
olives are worst. I hate them. It's always the simple little stupid things like that people.
I like lamb.
I like
Lamb. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Well, Steve, I think that's people blew up about it. They're idiots.
I can't believe you haven't heard about this. There's like the Pizza Magazine was like talking about it. There's some famous pizzeria in San Diego that agreed with him. Just all over, man.
Huh.
Yeah,
I don't like pineapple pizza.
Yeah.
same.
But- But I don't give a shit if it's legal. I mean, you know what I mean? If someone likes it, you know?
Do you think anybody listeners out there are going to blackball us because we said we don't like pineapple pizza?
Blackball us because of it?
Well, like cut us out.
Then fuck them. Yeah, I mean, if I don't like it, I don't like it. You know what I mean? I will not say I like pineapple pizza to make
Try
a
it,
fan
Sam, I
happy.
am.
Huh, that's totally weird. So, that's bizarre. What do you get? Come on, man. Give me one more. Give me one good. Give me one good before we go to break. Give me a good one.
All right. Well, a physicist at the Large Hadron Collider,
Yeah.
he claims that
CERN, yeah.
that the Hadron Collider disproves the existence of ghosts.
Why?
And let me get into it. So it's, of course, like, this is all like, complicated molecular level stuff.
Right. Like, don't put me to sleep. Just give me a basic fucking reason. Yeah.
So basically what he's saying, if there's some kind of substance that's driving our bodies, making our arms and legs move, then it must interact with the particles out of which our bodies are made with. And seeing as if they've made high precision measurements of the ways that particles interact, his assertion is that there could be no such thing as energy source that's driving our bodies. Basically because this Hadron Collider measures like so specifically, so small,
Right.
that there must have been some sort of trace, some sort of something that shows that there's more of an energy field than what we're seeing.
I guess I'd have to understand more what he's saying, because to me, that doesn't prove anything, just because, they don't even know what dark matter is, right?
I was just going to say,
Sure.
dude, another fucking scientist trying to tell you souls aren't real and there's nothing behind any of it. We found out a few days ago there's 7 fucking planets right over there.
Well, it's like that. And then it's the whole idea is if we lived in a virtual reality, then this whole thing is a game, and what we're measuring things with are only the elements that we're being given to understand reality. Correct? You know what I mean? So it would be kind of the same thing. You could look at that and go...
Exactly. It's his assertion is based off of information that we have.
Yeah.
So he's saying if the world works the way that we know it works today, then it's impossible.
Yeah.
But there's always stuff that we don't know about. We're always discovering new things. It could be something that no one even thought to look into.
The best thing I've ever heard it explained is if you imagine you took your eyeballs, they're long, the nerve,
Yeah.
you pull them. Say you were going in brain surgery and your head was open, your brain was there.
Man.
If you took your eyeballs while you were awake and pointed them back at your brain, what is viewing what? Who is the purveyor here? Because your brain is supposedly registering imagery and understanding, and your eyeballs are showing you the imagery and understanding of your brain seeing. You know what I mean? At some point, you start realizing that consciousness...
that made no fucking sense to me.
Would your brain explode? What is
that did nothing to make me understand this.
A simpler way to explain it, what I was trying to say, would be, if everybody's seen the movie Avatar, where
Right.
you know how they step into an avatar and,
Right.
and now that's them in a different body in a different plane?
Well, to a degree, I understand it all. I just, it's hard for me to put stock into too much when you get to this level of experimentation. When someone starts saying things like, this just eliminates the possibility of a spirit or a soul. It's like, I just tune out right there. It's like, stop saying it eliminates the possibility. You know, no, it fucking doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
It just doesn't, you know? And so, you know, again, you know, even the CERN Collider, I mean, like, 99% of their work is pure guesswork based off this one thing. Because of this thing, I hypothesize this thing, which, if correct, would create this thing, you know what I mean? And it becomes a domino of hypotheses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they start working backwards to try to get to a place. I like that they're pushing the bar forward, but it's like, just stick, you know, if you don't want religion involved in your side of spirituality, stay out of the other side too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Remember the show Wake Up ICU that we used to do in college and you came on it? Remember that guy?
I want to blow up the moon. The world would be so much better. Yeah, fucking crazy.
It's like, whoa, calm down, buddy. Calm down.
He was fucking convinced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Scientists are something else. So, anyways, having said that, guys, we're going to take a break. And when we come right back, we will have some more recent events in the non-weird world. And I will have actually an actual series, a hidden gem. I'm going to tell you guys about a hidden gem starring Mr. Jeremy Piven, of all people. And from there, we have a few fan questions, and we'll wrap it up. We'll be right back with more Paramerican Radio.
Paramerican Radio will be right back after this commercial break with even more dope-ass shit.
In 1984, a Siberian geological group of scientists began drilling a well into the grounds of Russia's Kola Peninsula. After digging nearly 9 miles deep, the drill bit began to spin wildly out of control, as though it had entered a hollow region in the Earth's crust. After retrieving the bit, scientists lowered a temperature gauge and an audio recorder into the bottom of the well. Although the estimated temperature of gases in the ground at 9 miles were thought to be 120 degrees, scientists were shocked that the gauge returned a reading in excess of 2,000 degrees. But nothing could have prepared them for the sounds returned by the audio recorder.
Chad Kalich's Stairway to Hell documentary, along with 15 additional Kalich documentaries, are all available on DVD right now at ahtelevision.com.
We are back with more Paramerican Radio. Tinder Steve. What is going on in our world that is interesting, Steve, but not necessarily bizarre, mysterious, or kind of resolved, you know? Just give me some unique stuff.
Sure. So scientists at USC, they did this study where they took participants, they linked a MRI and stuff to their brain so they could view their brain, and they would ask them political questions, and they would try to change their minds about political topics.
Okay.
And the MRI showed that parts of the brain that triggered deep emotional thought about their personal identities would go off. What this means is that our political views are more than just opinions. It biologically makes who we are as a person. And that is why it is so difficult to change people's minds about political opinions. And that is why, especially right now, what you're seeing is there's such a high divide in politics. It's because smashing
deeply rooted. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Well, notice that there's two things you should never argue about. And you know what those two things are?
Religion and politics.
Religion and politics. Because people do. It's one of the few things in the world that when I say, besides who you are, Steve Zilberman, a human being, an artist, a filmmaker, It's one of the two other things in the world I can say, well, what are you?
Right.
I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican or I'm an independent, you know, whatever, libertarian. What are you? I'm a Catholic. I'm a Protestant. You know what I mean? There's basically three functioning things that we identify ourselves by: religion, politics, and then our own individual aspirations.
I would say,
So-
in general, most people, yes.
Yeah.
I think ideally, hopefully, you can get to the point where you don't identify yourself as just a Catholic or just a Republican or just a, you know.
Well, I don't know that anybody does that holistically. You know what I mean? But some people, you know, people put a lot of weight on it.
Well, I mean, if you get to the point where you define yourself as you, right? So
Right.
you, Chad. So what are you like? I'm Chad Kalick. Yeah, I know. So Christian, you know. I mean, if you just skip into I'm Chad Kalick, and, you know, like it would upset people. Like, no, I make my own decisions, governed from my own intellect or reasoning, and I think about it and I answer from my opinion, not from what the priest said, not from what my president said, not from what anybody told me. You know.
Yeah, well, I think that should be the aspiration. You know, we should. I don't think in our lifetime we're going to be able. So whenever Joey would hang around, he would always, whenever you would start, you know, on religion and politics, he was always like, "God, tell Justin to stop the religion and politics," because he knew. The thing is, it's not even your fault. It's anytime you bring it up, people hold it so closely because both of them kind of establish defining, preconceived notions of thought. Right? If I say I'm a Republican, they go, he's a conservative. If I say I'm a Democrat, he's a liberal lunatic. You know what I mean? They say it's just same thing with religion. I'm not surprised by that study at all. That would make total sense to me.
Right.
You know, it makes total sense. It's just those are the things you don't want to fuck with when people are married to them. I hate talking politics and religion with anybody. Because, you know, unless you think what they think, you're going to fight. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I know. Well, it's weird though. I'm not like that. You know, I don't have any thoughts about politics. Any thoughts about like? I mean, I have thoughts about this stuff, but I'm not married to any idea.
You know, but
whatsoever.
that's a youthful perspective, man. Everybody was like
you'll
that.
hear more later as politics affects your life more. It affects you later on in life more. You know, I would also say you care more than you think.
Well, okay.
We talk Trump all the time.
Right. Well, I'll give you an example. You know, I think that Trump's travel ban is ridiculous. You know, it's stupid, but I can see it from their perspective of why it could be helpful.
I think everybody can see the reasoning. I think everybody doubts the sincerity. Like, I think everybody feels like it's about Trump. If any president walked out and pitched us a truthful, reasonable, look, this will keep us safer. Let's go over why. You know what I mean? America would go, hey, if that's what's really going on,
Right.
fucking lock it up. You know what I mean? Everyone feels like it's a follow through. Look at my dick being big move. You know what I mean? They feel it's about Trump. That's what they feel it's about. You know, the people that are against it. You know what I mean? The people that are for it, and the people that are for him. You know, and Trump's made it intelligently. In some ways, intelligently, he's made it a war of the media versus him, not right or wrong, right? Because now all of his followers, right? You just got to go along with whatever he says. You know, so it's why I hate politics. You know, it's like I'm getting heated talking about it now. So
that part of your brain
no
is
more
getting
fucking
triggered.
Trump talk. God damn it. Moving forward, what do you got next, man?
That's impossible. So, yeah, Musk came out and he had a press conference.
Oh, Elon.
Yep.
Elon, everybody's favorite futuroso. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's flying 2 people next year around the moon. And yeah, they're training this year to go up there.
Fly around the moon.
Yeah, exactly. Not on it, but around it.
So they're gonna see the dark side of the moon, technically speaking.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But this is happening next year. That's what they're flying out
The
next
interesting
year.
part to me that I brought up to Steve was that, you know, if the conspiracy was true, and if, you know, then obviously Elon Musk, I mean, talking about the moon conspiracy,
right,
would have to be privy to some next level shit. I mean, they know the physics, right? Why wouldn't he just go land on the moon if he was?
But I was just going to say, the general belief, the accepted belief by even the conspiracy theorists is that we didn't land on the moon when we said we did.
Right.
That we have since gained the technology to do so.
But it didn't.
That's the general belief.
It happened supposedly 20 times after the initial time that was questioned, but it wasn't like a long. It was right back to back almost, and then they quit going after that, right?
Right. They just suddenly if
they
you
had
believe that.
No other
You know
reason
what I
to
mean?
go there,
Right.
probably. I don't know.
Which is silly if you think about it. They flew those golf
Why would they
cart looking things supposedly.
Yeah, why would they be spending millions, billions, whatever dollars to keep going back to the moon just to do it? You know?
No, not just to do it. I mean, the amount of science that can be done up there, the amount of fucking engineering work, there's all kinds of, there's so much shit up there they can learn. And believe me, they didn't learn it all in a few missions when they were just now figuring out how to supposedly get there.
Not only that, the resources. The moon is rich in hydrogen-3,
Uranium.
titanium,
Uranium-238, which is the compound for nuclear that everybody searches their ass off for. Yes.
So there's all these valuable things that are sitting on the moon.
It's also rich in bronze, which is bizarre because bronze appears nowhere naturally throughout the entire universe. Bronze is copper and zinc. So the only way that bronze appears is if someone makes it. The first batch of rocks they brought back from the moon had bronze in it.
Oh, it doesn't naturally mix together?
Bronze appears nowhere in the known universe. Nope.
Huh.
Copper and zinc makes bronze. So yeah, bronze is man-made. Yeah.
Huh.
That's interesting. I mean, I think they've since gone. I think, God, there's. I'm trying to think how I can say this and have it quick. I think there's long been a treaty of a time period. I think we. See, I'm gonna sound crazy as shit on this show. I think there's aliens that are here, living with us, working with the government.
Yeah.
I think there were some major disagreements. I think the 2 missile launches that we went to the moon, I think was an act of war. I think it was some kind of threat that happened. And I think that we signed some sort of treaty that basically told us to back the fuck off. And I think it happened quickly. And there's a lot of, if you believe Edgar Mitchell's crazy shit, there's a lot to say that that's true. And then I think that band started to become up because all of a sudden we're talking about, we jumped the step that man will land on Mars. Obama's signing colonization orders. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do we know now? I mean, we must be certain we can fucking get there.
What was the crazy things Edgar Mitchell said about?
Well, just that there was, yes, a global space treaty of no more nukes, no more warheads, period. And that that they would provide us, if we can do this for a time period, we would be provided with 0-point energy. Or basically the machines that create 0-point energy.
So was that released through the Podesta emails that were
exposed? Yeah.
Okay.
But he had been talking, Edgar Mitchell had been talking about 0-point energy and the Galactic Space Treaty for a long time.
Huh.
So, I think, and this is spitballing obviously, but I think there was some kind of ban, something that kept us out of the sky and space as actively as we wanted to be. Because lately, man, we are cranking it the fuck up. I mean, there's a new story every day about new planets, new aliens, new this, new that. Now we're flying people around the dark side of the moon. That's fucking cool, you know?
Yeah. Maybe it has some kind of correlation with Trump getting in as president because he's taking so much oxygen out of the room. Nobody's really paying attention to a lot of this stuff in the background anymore, It just becomes white noise. It's I don't know.
Yeah. And maybe it is that thing we're saying, like, is that you're kind of trying to imply that, like, when you bring up craziness over here, you don't pay attention to this over here? Is that what you're saying? Like, you like when...
Well, everybody's so focused because the 24-hour news cycle, that's how Trump got elected, in my view, too, that everybody was covering him. Everything he said, because it was so insane. Right. And when everybody's debating about it, angry about it, this, going back and forth... Nobody's paying attention to this backstory. No one's saying,
well, what the fuck, right? Yeah, exactly. Could be. There's just a lot of space news lately. A lot, so... I hope we do take someone around. I think that would be really awesome. I would love to see who those people are and see some real footage from it.
That's the thing I thought was interesting, that he didn't name who they are. Do you think they're celebrities? Do you think they're just, It's Kanye and...
I was just going to say my guess would lead me to believe that maybe it was a celebrity, yeah. Yeah, right. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. Give me one more, man. Give me one more.
All right, this one has been talked about a lot, and it's the huge Oscar mix-up that happened. And I was one of the. Do you remember on the last
told
podcast?
me who won.
Yeah, I thought La La Land won because that's what
Yeah.
all the news was reporting. And I read it quickly. I came over here, and I came home, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second, La La Land didn't win. So basically, what happened is, PricewaterhouseCoopers, they were in charge. They had one job at the Oscar to give the envelope, and they fucked up.
Oh, it's so fucking embarrassing, dude.
No,
Really?
but the reason I'm bringing this up though is because a lot of people are saying that Moonlight, the film that was supposed to win, was the first film that had an all-black cast, black director, black editor. It was.
Yeah. I was reading all the conspiracy theories too. That it was going to be like a shaming where that's what people would talk about, not the film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that type of thing.
Sure.
It's really bizarre how it all went down. I would tell you that much. That doesn't necessarily mean that there was a concerted effort to do that. But
I would doubt.
But man, I'll show you the video here in a second. It's bad.
I would doubt that would have happened that way because when you're running live events like that and you're so focused on trying to make sure things are on time, things are done correctly.
Yeah, but the company that had the envelopes,
yeah,
they weren't involved with that at all. All they had to do was give the envelope. That's it. Huh. So how does a mix-up like that happen?
Right.
And this also supports the conspiracy theory. I can't remember the guy who was in charge, but he wouldn't let anyone look at the envelopes beforehand. But I think they do that every time. But he was the only one that knew what was in there.
Here, I'm gonna pull it up here for you.
My family, maman, papa, Jeff, hommage, je vous adore. Matt Pluff, you kicked this off. And Damien Chazelle, we're standing on your shoulders. We lost, by the way, but
Guys, I'm sorry. No, there's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won. Come on, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
I think you guys should keep it anyway. Oh, it's Warren. I'm sorry. Guys, this is very unfortunate what happened. Personally, I blame Steve Harvey for this. I would like to see you get an Oscar anyway. Why can't we just give out a whole bunch of them?
I'm going to be really proud to hand this to my friends from Moonlight.
So we just looked at the video, obviously. Looking at them, it's. I understand why the conspiracy theorists get rolling. Everybody seemed embarrassed.
Yeah.
I think it was a genuine fucking mistake, and yeah, it sucks that the first film that's with all black cast, director, everything that this
Editor
happened
even.
to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sucks.
Oh, I think it makes it more noteworthy. It makes me more apt to remember than not. To me,
But what do you remember though? I remember the mistake more than.
I remember the name of the movie that I probably wouldn't have ever gone and seen just because I've never heard any about it before until that Oscar moment.
Conspiracy could be flipped the other way around too. Then, man, maybe someone wanted it to be more something more memorable.
Yeah.
Right. Either way, I mean, look, it's a fucking weird thing. It's funny. I'm sorry to watch it. It's just kind of funny, especially the guys who giving these long, heartfelt speeches. And the last guy gives a speech. He gives a speech and he goes, "Thank you," and we didn't win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I don't believe that if you were going to shame them, I don't think that's a way you would do it. I mean, that's a weird way to do it. If the Academy wanted to shame them, you don't nominate them.
It makes sense. Emma Stone, I'm assuming, won Best Actress.
She did.
Okay, so they just had a mix-up where they had her.
They have a picture of it
Best
showing
Actress.
in his hand. It says Best Actress. They gave him the wrong envelope. But like you said, there's only goddamn thing they had to do right that night.
I know.
I mean? It's fucking so,
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's crazy.
And I mean the most ironic part is that was the award of the night, the best picture.
Yeah, right? That's hilarious. Alrighty, and with that, let's get to movie reviews. This week I actually have a series that I want to review, and it is a diamond in the rough. I knew nothing about this, had not heard anything about it. There on Amazon.com, there is a PBS series, Masterpiece Theater. Remember the old PBS Masterpiece Theater?
Right.
It is a series called Mr. Selfridge, and it is now in its 4th season. And it is based on a true story. It is about a gentleman named Mr. Selfridge that established the first high-end shopping, it's called Selfridges, like clothing shopping store, on the East End of England. And it is just a high drama timepiece. Absolutely awesome. I heard about this because I was listening to a podcast where Pivot was on, and they were kind of like, dude, where have you been? Like, and what he said was that Mr. Selfridge was bought throughout the world, all worldwide rights, by Netflix, but for some reason Amazon outbid them for American rights for Mr. Selfridge, so they went with the money. And he was just kind of let down because there hasn't been a ton of promotion at all, or not really any. And but he loves the project so much that he stayed with it. And they've done 4 seasons, 12 episode seasons, so almost 50 or 60 episodes. It is awesome. It is absolutely awesome, and it is masterpiece in the sense that there's no overt swearing. There's no, like I said, it's a timepiece. Like back in old England with the time period of I guess it would have been, if I could guess,
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle era.
No, Jack the Ripper era. Okay. You know what I mean? And it's almost Shakespearean. If you like Shakespearean plays where there's, 9 different lives and they all start out, all over here, and by the end of it they're so intertwined that one move here creates a domino effect in all these other people's lives. But Mr. Selfridge is basically a go hard or go home guy. Dream big, go for everything, don't, take no for an answer. And you find out later on that he has daddy issues. His father, his mom, his whole life grew up telling him your daddy died in the war. He was a hero. And he, comes to find out his dad's still alive and he was just a drunk and his mom kept him away. And he just has a hard time feeling real emotion for people. He feels it for accomplishments, And the war's going on at that time as well. And you kind of see what they went through from their side. But the character is amazing. It's one of the most enjoyable just watches you could have of really high personal drama, just real life drama. And it's interesting to see how he built this business and his techniques and his policies and how they seemed crazy at first and now they're copied by like almost every shopping high-end clothing store in the world now copies his practices. So it's kind of cool that way too. It gives you a historical kind of lesson on history and shopping stores and why they do what they do. What is the display case front window really used for? How powerful can it really be? What did they used to do in stores?
But that happened later on though. The display window. The display window was Macy's was the first store to ever do that.
I'm not saying I'm not talking about the way in which they used it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll see. Selfridge did everything different. I'm getting at he used it for a lot of different things. He used it to make political statements, which at the time he believed that. I feel like I'm giving too much away right now, but there's basically he does a lot of unique things that companies now do and employ into their practices. But he was also an extremely kind of loyal man to his team, unless you crossed him for any reason, and it took once, and you're like gone. So his arms were big if you weren't giving a true hug. You know what I mean? And if they weren't, he was bro. But I just highly suggest it. And it's one of those ones you can just fuck it. I haven't had no time the last 4 days, but I've been dying for like a veg Netflix out day. You know what I mean?
See, that's the one thing Netflix, Hulu, think about it. They have really brought forth all this programming. Nobody was watching all these. I mean, The Fall. There's tons of like either in Ireland, England.
Yeah.
My wife and I watch these all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
3%.
Right, but all those became available because you had all this really good production that Netflix said, hey, you know what? We can buy this cheap. Let's go out and buy these foreign productions and air those. And they've become hits now in America.
Yeah, big time.
Nobody was doing that before Netflix or Hulu, you know?
Well, Mr. Selfridge is on Amazon.com. 4 seasons. Netflix out to it, as they say. Yeah, don't you love that when you got a block of time like I can just watch the fuck out of this series? I watched Narcos season 2 straight through. I couldn't stop. It was just so good. I just couldn't. And I had a Sunday completely open. I watched Narcos season 2 straight the fuck through, start to finish. Excellent. So good stuff. All right, let's get to questions. You know, guys, we only, again, I don't want to keep asking the same mundane questions, so we only had a couple new ones here, and one of them I thought was kind of interesting. It was Marianne from Dorchester, Mass. Says she is from Dave Burns' area, loved Dave on the podcast, and wanted to know if we would ever take him ghost hunting. I think we would obviously take him ghost hunting, but we don't really go ghost hunting anymore. But as you heard, you know, I'm looking forward to having Dave back. You know, I had never known that Dave had an interest and a passion in the paranormal. We really wanted to bring him on to discuss a lot of our history. We kind of learned that about him.
Well, I guess being from Boston, I didn't even really stop and consider that. But,
sure.
You know, I don't know how much that enters into the mind. You know, from my understanding, Dave had he was in a rough neighborhood and a rough upbringing, you know, so sometimes you don't have time for that stuff, man, you know?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I shouldn't say we don't go ghost hunting anymore. We do, but it's just, and like I said, that comes with spare time, and there are a lot of things I would want to do with my spare time before that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think those days, dare I say, maybe beyond us at this point. Moving on, our last question of the evening. Clive from Portland, Oregon wants to know if we have seen the Conjuring films and what do we think. I have seen both. I've seen Conjuring 1 and 2. Thought 2 was awesome. Thought 1 was really weird. The only thing I don't understand, I mean, I understand it. The thing that's not true about both of them is both of the films kind of make Ed Warren kind of out to be this fodly-dodly, Humpty-Dumpty kind of dumb dude that would just run through a place like a bull through a china shop, and Lorraine wanders off by herself and leaves Ed behind. That shit didn't fucking happen, you know. Ed was the motherfucking master of this shit. He was very intelligent, an orator. I mean, an orator on the level of Obama. This guy could go look it up sometimes and just listen to Ed speak about the paranormal. It is amazing, and he is convincing, and he was excessively protective over Lorraine. Extremely protective. Never would he have sat in the house and apportation and possession and, you know, fires are going off upstairs and she tells him, I got it. I got it.
Is Lorraine still with us?
Lorraine's still here. She's still here. Wow. Still hanging on, yeah.
How old is she now?
She's getting up there. She's I want to say like 89 or 90.
Yeah, I would think she's got to be at least 90. At least.
I am pretty sure. Well, hold on. She was 80. I want to believe she was 86 when she filmed with us, and that was some time ago.
American Ghost Hunter?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so she's in her in the
90s.
It's got to be
93.
Yeah. Lorraine's character, I think, is fairly close. I think Vera Farmiga does a fair job, with the exception of, even in the midst of like heated stuff, Lorraine's always a joker and a smiler. She's always a oh honey. I've just never seen Lorraine get, look and act as Vera Farmiga acts in those situations. Like, I've never seen that from her. She can be serious, but she would like turn to Joey, like when Joey, our investigation partner, Lorraine ran into him yeah, at the West Virginia State Penitentiary, and she didn't think he should have been there. And she turned and said, "Oh dear, why have you come here?" You know, and she did have to be funny, but also have to warn him. You know what I mean? And she's always kind of been like that. There's she'll get her point across. Without being like so intense.
Right.
And I get it's a movie. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But the thing to point out, it does bug me every time I see it. Ed Lorraine did not sit back on his heels and let Lorraine take the lead. Ed loved Lorraine dearly and protected her like crazy.
Well, when films are being made, you know this
She's
too.
alive, he's not.
Yeah,
That's part of it.
that. But I think it's just a big part of it. You have people get involved and they want to make it Hollywoodized, make it more entertaining, find ways to angle things, and people still. I hear people go, "This is a true story." I'm like, if you think this is a documentary, you're so far gone.
No. Yeah, and that's another thing too. People do ask that. How close are the? Loosely based. The Conjuring is fucking loosely based. But again, they're making a movie. I totally get it. And why is she written as the more kind of like, I guess, powerful of the duo? Although she's in the movies at the very end. She does interviews. She does like the interviewer. Like I
think that sells now.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm saying like you can't really have Ed be the theatrical lead in the film when he's not around. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird, have him take the lead.
That's true.
And she's not there. So I think it's an homage to her. I don't think anybody's trying to be disrespectful to Ed. I think they're trying to pay respect to her. And there's a difference. You know what I mean? So
by giving a false representation of history.
Absolutely. Having said that, lots of fun as always, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back soon. It is late. We are tired. We are hot. We are ready for bed. We do this because we love you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Justin, Steve, say goodbye.
Adios.
See ya.
We out. Bye-bye.